Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. It's Quiz Friday. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the questions. And before I begin, if you have a 2017, 2018, or 2019 CPT book, you should be good to go. If you have a 2018 or 2019 version of the ICD-10 book, you should be good to go. All right, and I'm going to be putting all the questions down in the description box below. And if you have any questions during the weekend, be sure to shoot me an email and let me know, and I will be including my email address down in the description box below. All right, so number 1, the patient fell after being shoved in a bar fight. The patient broke their left ulnar wrist, and he has contusions all around the wrist. What are the diagnosis or diagnoses codes? Just the diagnosis codes only, okay? Number 2, the patient had a right knee ACL anterior cruciate ligament, okay, sprain 3 years ago after twisting his knee while skiing. He has had right knee pain and instability in his knee ever since. He is here for surgery evaluation. What are the diagnosis codes? Just the diagnosis codes only in this one, okay? Number 3, the patient is a follow-up 1-year status post clipping procedure for an aneurysm. The patient is currently doing well with no issues. Okay. Number 4, the patient had an autologous conditioned plasma injection for right knee pain. What is the procedure and the diagnosis codes? Okay. Number 5, the patient arrives with an injured right wrist. She had fallen forward on steps onto her outstretched hand. Suspected right wrist sprain. Splint applied to the right wrist. The patient is counseled to follow up at the next appointment to track progress. What are the diagnosis codes? What is a procedure code? And what modifier would be appended to an E&M? Remember, we don't have an E&M level on this one. Just what modifier would you apply to an E&M? Number 6, aftercare 2 weeks, status post myringotomy for right otitis media. What is the diagnosis and procedure code for the post-op? Okay. Number 7 is 6 weeks status post plantar fascia release. The patient is there for surgical dressing change and sutures removal. What are the diagnosis and procedure codes? Okay. Number 8 is the one where I have like the steps to go all the way through, right? So the patient comes in with gallstones. They had a cholecystectomy. So I want the diagnosis and the procedure. And then their aftercare for the cholecystectomy, 7 weeks status post the procedure. What is the diagnosis and procedure code for that visit? Okay. And then I want the follow-up diagnosis codes for follow-up 9 months, this cholecystectomy with the normal follow-up. Like the patient is totally healed and everything, okay, 9 months later. All right? So, the gallstones, the cholecystectomy, what is the aftercare for the cholecystectomy, 7 weeks, the diagnosis and the procedure, and then I want the follow-up diagnosis or diagnoses codes, 9 months status post this cholecystectomy. Number 9, the patient had a right hip replacement 1 year ago. What are the diagnosis codes or diagnosis code? Number 10, bilateral knee osteoarthritis. An ultrasound-guided steroid injection is performed into the bilateral knees. Okay? Remember, these little scenarios are just stuff that I make up to sort of help you to learn how to navigate the book and things like that. These are not official practices or anything like that. I am just a real world coder who is just passing on my knowledge, okay? And remember, all of these are set in the outpatient setting. So remember that when you're looking up these diagnoses, okay? These are all set in the outpatient setting. So anyway, but yeah, that's it. And we will be discussing the answers on Answer Monday. So I am so glad that you guys enjoyed story time. I enjoyed the story time too, even though I was thinking about it. I was just like, I wonder if people are going to want to know these stories. But, you know, these are things that did happen. And it is good to kind of have this idea of, you know, what could possibly happen when you're in the real world. Or if you are in the real world, you know, what do you do if you have a situation that's like this, you know? Thanks for giving me you guys' feedback. I really appreciate it. And I will be sure to think of some more stories that have happened so I can share those here with you guys. This week was it was sort of like long, right? I think whenever there's like a holiday in the middle of the week, it'll make it just seems like it's just so much longer, you know. But it was nice to sleep in a little bit on 4th of July, and that was really nice. I did volunteer for my church's it's the New Year's party, so I volunteered to be the New Year's chair. So I'm excited because I like to plan parties. Now I realize because a lot of people says, "Oh, you poor thing. Oh, you poor thing," but have we met? Do you know me? One of the things that I love to do, aside from cooking and of course aside from medical coding, is I love to do parties. And I like to challenge myself to a budget, okay? So my budget is not out of control. I always have this in my head. And how can I be most creative to have the most bang for my buck? You know, like how can I make this really great? And I have fed 60 people on $40 before. So that's not a really big deal for me, like crowd size and trying to figure out like what the best meal plan is. You know, I'm sure I'll be making a trip to like Sam's or Costco or something. And but I had met with them for the first time this week, and they were like, "Oh, we're so glad you've come out to volunteer because no one came out to volunteer." And I said, "Okay, well, you know, cool." Because I went to the party for New Year's, this last New Year's, and you know, I mean, it was nice. You know, I was thinking that to myself at the time that if they do have you know, openings for the party committee, that I would volunteer myself, and sure enough. But there's just some things that I think I would do differently. Of course, the food was great. Oh, now, the lady that catered it, she really is a very, very good cook. And I really admire her for her really good cooking. So I think I'm going to try to mirror some of that, of course, with my own spin. And the ladies were like, "Well, you know, we've already hired the band." And I was like, "Okay, great." Because that was where I was like most worried. I was like, I don't want to DJ again, you know, because the DJ that we had, nice guy, but I don't think that he was like really kind of paying attention to the demographic he had in front of him. My church is full of older people. I mean, you know, older people from like their time is like the 50s and the 60s and 70s. That's their time, you know. And he was playing a lot of current music, and there was some young people. Myself, I was there, and of course some of the members of the choir were there, and they're relatively young. So but the vast majority of the people were older, you know. So you kind of want to cater to like the older crowd, you know. And just the music selection, I don't think was very good. And what is that one shuffle song that they always play at parties? The DJs always play. I was like, that song, just like, it was like nails on a chalkboard. I don't like that song. I don't. So if I have my way, I'm going to make sure that song is not played. And I will make sure that this band knows, do not play that song. Because that song is so played out. It's like every single party I go to that has a DJ, they play that shuffle song. I don't know what the name of it is, but it's some shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. No, 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 no. Like I've heard really good DJs. I've been to Vegas, okay? So I've been in clubs where they play like the DJ plays really good music and they don't play that song. So, no. But I went in there and I was talking to the ladies and I asked them, well, what kind of music does this band play? And they go, oh, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And I'm like, well, that's great. And then they go, well, we don't have a theme for this party. And I said, okay, well, off the top of my head, either Midsummer Night's Dream or the 60s. And then they go, oh, and they were just so excited when I said the 60s. So I was just like, bingo. So they showed me a picture they had from a previous appreciation party that they had. It was the 60s and it was a few years ago. And they said, oh, that was so much fun. You know, we had this like sock hop theme and things like that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is really good. So I'm thinking like Mad Men and, you know, the 60s, you know. And so, I mean, I live for a pencil skirt. I mean, I will wear a pencil skirt all day long if I have my way. So I will not have a problem with an outfit. Hairstyle might be a different thing, but I'm excited about it. So the secretary of the church, she's generally the one that does all the advertising, and she's like, oh, I think I'm going to go ahead and get this flyer together. She's like, oh, wait, you know, do you want me to put it together? I'm like, oh, yes, you know, that's fine, you know. And so, I mean, I don't mind relinquishing a little bit, you know, of creativity, you know, to somebody else, because I mean, she's the one who would know about the advertising and stuff. So I'm really excited about it. But I did tell them that the lady that did the catering, I don't think is going to be available this year to do catering because they were looking into other places and they were saying that they've already booked a band. And the only thing that cost-wise was going to be more expensive would probably be the catering. And so they started naming all these places that do catering. And I said, no, I'll cook. And they said, no, we'll order. No. If it's one thing I do, it's cook. Okay, I like to cook. They go, really? And I said, yes. You know, I like to cook, and I really don't mind cooking. That is my joy. You know, I said, as long as I have a budget and I know, they go, oh, well, we can go to Sam's or Costco. And I'm like, okay, that's perfect, you know, because there's like all sort of meat selections that you can get at Sam's and Costco. And then, of course, there's all the sides and everything else. So it's not going to take a lot to put together a really good meal, you know. And so I'm excited about it. And, of course, I told some of the other people that I knew from church, my sponsor that was with me before, I told her, I was like, oh, you know, I volunteered for the New Year's party chair. And she goes, oh, you fool. And I said, well, you know, God watches out for fools and babies, so fool. So anyway, but I'm excited about it. And she's like, are you sure? And I said, why does everybody keep saying that? You know, I'm really not afraid because it's a party and that's what I like to do. And for some people it's a chore, you know, oh, I don't like organizing this stuff, and that's not me. I like to organize. I like to do these things. You know, I like to throw nice parties and have everything a good theme with good food. I think if you have a good theme and good food, that is the bulk of the party. And then I was thinking of all these other ideas and what do I want to have, and do I want to do a balloon drop? I would love to do a balloon drop. And I've been watching videos about how to do balloon drops. And then of course I was thinking about doing my saran wrap ball. It's like I've done the saran wrap ball before, where you wrap like little toys or like little liquor bottles. I had a Christmas party and I did that, where I wrapped the little small liquor bottles and, you know, like change and, you know, dollars and things like that. And I wrapped it. And then you put on these oven mitts and And you so you roll the dice, right? And when you hit doubles, it's your turn, right? And so you put on these oven mitts and you're trying to unwrap this ball, and whatever flies out is your prize, you know. And so meanwhile, while you're trying to unwrap this ball, the next person is rolling the dice and trying to get doubles until, you know, they hit doubles, and then, you know, you got to give them the oven mitts. And it really is a lot of fun. And of course, the saran wrap gets recycled, okay? But it is a lot of fun to see grown people going crazy for, you know, this little saran wrap ball, you know, with all this, you know, fun stuff in it. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a good time. So I'm excited about it. And I'm looking up all these ideas. So that's what I was doing earlier. And then I was like, I need to make sure that I go ahead and list the video. And then I gotta put all the information into the description box so that way you guys can have it. But yes, so if you have any questions, like I said, during the weekend, just let me know, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right. So if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. All right, well, I will see y'all on the next video, and have a good weekend. Bye.